back in the 60s, maybe the early 70s, you could throw a rock into a pack of women and pick a wife. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You can't, you can't even do that now. But,
Yeah.
basically you throw, basically if you throw a rock in a pack of women, it's going to come out the other side. It won't hit
Yeah.
a wife because there aren't any in that pack.
Clearly, there's a group of productive black men in the West that are looking for mates that they can build stable long-term relationships or even marriages with, hence passport bros. But it speaks to a changed dynamic inside of relationships. This is something that Dr. Tiasan Johnson and BGS IBMOR covered in this stream all of a year ago.
He says they want the money without the commitment. What does that do to a culture over time?
Transactional cultures do not work. Okay. Transactional cultures usually break down into prostitution, and basically that's where they're headed, because you're making instead of making your ability to be a wife and provide a family as the commodity that's desired, you're making sex as a commodity. Sex is not supposed to be the basis of a relationship. It's not. It's supposed to be part of it. I'm not saying that you should get it. It's supposed to be part of it, but that's not supposed to be the relationship. Okay.
Right.
Because what you entering into is a trick hole relationship. Okay. Transactional. Okay. And that's unstable.
How much should a man spend on the first date?
It depends on how far he's trying to get.
What's the most a man should spend on a first date?
I wouldn't say like with the most, but I think the minimum within the like 200 to 300 range is like normal.
That's the minimum?
Yes.
How much do you think a man should spend on a first date?
$1,000.
He knew that this kind of transactional relationship would actually bring the whole society down. Eventually, what you're going to have is disengaged, indifferent men, because you've made sex a commodity.
For average and even above average men in the dating market, they're simply getting priced out of the market in terms of what they would like from a mate. And you can hear a doctor explain how the numbers have gotten out of whack.
But we got to get away from this idea that everybody's making six figures, or the idea that if you're not making six figures, you're some kind of failure. It's impossible especially in a capitalist system, for everyone to make 100,000. It's not. If everybody did, 100,000 would not be valued at what we think 100,000 is valued at.
So for me, the curious question becomes, what happens at the intersection of, one, more and more women enjoying financial success in the workplace, thus raising their standard financially for what they want in a mate, two, more transactional ways of looking at mating and dating rituals, and three, a financial environment that's making it more difficult to live a life of higher status, you get...
Men can focus on making money when paper play is legal. Instead of spending time chasing women, men be late to work because they
that's instead of spending 4, 5, 6 hours wooing and a couple of more hours dating, you can actually spend $10 and hit a corner and get your needs met if that's what you want. It's like fast food. Okay, you don't have to sit on. It's not a home cooked meal. Okay. Right. The other question was the source. The best source would be look at what Greek has gone through after their collapse, after the financial collapse. And if you put in Greece and prostitution, a lot of that stuff will come up where they literally collapsed, and literally most of the women had to depend on brothels and street prostitution. Okay, because their traditional society. Traditional ways had collapsed.
The real curious question I have is, if indeed we're seeing a new environment where it's getting transactional, why are we seeing more cases of young women just emotionally breaking?
Only in the fucking airport, Spirit Airlines, the half naked. What is this going on in 2023? Lord, give me strength. I say no draws.
out. Get down.
Contrary to what many people might believe, I don't get joy out of seeing women break down in public. As men, we know if we break down in public, we go to jail. But to see women break down in public tells us that they're going through a level of stress that they're not really ready for or used to. In this case, this is a woman that's breaking down over a $2.50 bus fare.
I'm just trying to get home from work. What the is your problem? I ride this bus twice a day, every day. You're keeping me pressing me. I said leave me the alone. No, I'm not. Touch me and there'll be a problem. I'm not getting off the bus. I have done this for the past week and a half because I've explained to everyone twice a day that I can't afford to pay my fare because I'm an independent woman in San Diego. Because I'm an independent woman in San Diego. Because I'm an independent woman in San Diego.
Business bad? You pay me. Oh, you had a fire? You pay me. Place got hit by lightning, huh? You pay me.
Using deductive reasoning, seeing these kinds of public outbursts correlate with a growing number of extremely educated and successful women looking not for men that they can go 50-50 with.
Marriage is not 50-50. It has never been 50-50. It will never be 50-50.
But for men that can essentially free them from financial obligation.
Marriage is 85-15. 85 to the woman and 15 to the man. And let me explain something to you.
So that they can use their income as they see fit, suggests that there's something that's very valuable that men bring to the table that is not of direct monetary value. And when BGS IBMOR and Dr. Tiesan Johnson mentioned the idea of emotional labor, it changed my way of looking at how I dealt with women.
And AKs and Curtains has an interesting point. He says a partnership is what women want today. It takes the emotional labor and other things off the table, right? So that, and people don't often realize the emotional labor, especially from men, is actually part of the glue. It's the main part of the glue that keeps families together, keeps relationships together. It really does come down to the largesse of men. And we don't talk about it that way because we primarily talk about the emotional labor women give in relationships. But men's emotional labor has materiality to it. It has a material dimension that provides, supports, and protects and forms and keeps families together. So when you don't give men the incentive to extend that type of sacrifice, goes to just what you're describing.
Right. It becomes, you have when the kids become transactional and not invested into the community, it starts to break apart.
I take a shower. I gotta be up early.
How was your day?
My day was awesome. I had work today.
So what did you do today at work?
I could explain to you what emotional labor is, but it's better if I just showed you. This is a practice that BGS IBMOR refers to as downloading.
Well, I went to HEB, and as soon as I got there, they had this other couple, and I'm just looking at them. I'm like, why y'all standing there? But they had on jeans with like white shoes. I was trying to figure out, they was just standing there. It was just hard for me.
So you can see that this is a good minute and a half of her basically talking about her day, and he's listening to her. He's not comforting her or really doing anything other than just being interested in her day, even if he isn't. But this is something that is part of emotional labor. She continues.
See the shoes,
and he's just listening.
White. I basically was just looking at them, and then I wanted to go over there to like ask them if they had planned the outfit. Then I thought to myself, what are they thinking right now with me staring at them?
But this is a really valuable part of emotional labor. If you are with someone and they need someone to listen to their day and care about how their day went, and they don't have that, I'm not sure what kind of effect that has on women, but I can assure you it's not a positive one. To go through your day and after your full day, you go home and there's no one there that cares.
His head. But the people who had the white shoes on, he was already at the front of the line. I'm like, how did they get to the front of the line that fast? But the security guard got his hand on his head.
But my point is that this is very valuable. And when I realized that being someone that's going to do the emotional labor, stuff like this, has an unspoken value that we have not been taught to value ourselves.
Business bad? You pay me. Oh, you had a fire? You pay me. Place got hit by lightning, huh? You pay me.
When I first heard the term emotional labor, it made me reflect on some of the relationships that I had and things that I did that I thought was just mandatory for the relationship, which actually greased the skids so the relationship worked. They were incredibly valuable to her that I didn't value. Things like downloading, listening to her talk about her friends or her day or things that are bothering her and not offering solutions, but just caring enough to sit down and listen. There's a whole generation, there are a whole lot of single women that don't have that. What happens to those women when they're coming home every day with pent up stress and they have no one that cares to listen to that?
Business bad? You pay me.
Mood changing. And I'm extremely good at this, where on my way home, I'll get like a small piece of chocolate or a drink that I know she likes, or just some small something that I know will change her mood. And I'll put it somewhere, maybe in the fridge, and say, oh, by the way, I brought something for you. It's small, but you know, I know you like it. That can totally change her mood. And if you remove that from the equation, she doesn't get that.
Oh, you had a fire? You pay me.
Decision making is a big one in my book, because a lot of times is, what are we going to have for dinner? And instead of going in a 30-minute circle, it's like, you know what? I want to have this. Let's just do that. And instead of fighting about it, say, hey, listen, we don't want to fight about it. This is fine. Next time, if you want to choose something else, that's fine. But today we're going to have this. And it takes that 30-minute fretting of a conversation into a couple of seconds, and we're going to do this, and it's over. And that takes a burden off her back.
Place got hit by lightning, huh? You pay me.
Problem solving. Something like the bulb in the back of the fridge goes out and you can run into Lowe's or Home Depot and fix the problem in 2 or 3 minutes, where it might take her a couple of hours because she doesn't know where the light bulbs are. Or something like the car needs to get something worked on, and if she goes, she knows that she's going to get ripped off by the repairman. But if you go and you can adequately explain to him, this is the problem, it's been doing this for the last 2 weeks, I think it might be A or B, but take a look and see what you think, you're going to get a different quote on that repair bill. And you do that as, oh, that's the man, that's what the man's supposed to do. And then I thought about it and said, well, if we're going to reevaluate relationships, this is something I'm bringing to the relationship that is of value. And I think that even BGS IBMOR referred to it several years ago as masculine light. Your ability to breathe life into a woman that is dealing with maybe a chaotic day, or just the up and down emotions that women deal with, because women are different from us. It has value. And then when I realized I'm carrying and giving this valuable resource, and if I'm giving it to women as if it's a default, instead of saying, hey, listen, I'm going to help calm you down, I'm going to solve problems for you, I'm going to make sure that you can relax, all things that you're not going to get if I'm not here, then it changed the way I looked at dealing with women. Oh, you like to talk to me about how long your day was? I'll give you a couple minutes, but I'll give you longer if you're my girl. That kind of bargaining is something that we have never really considered. And here's the kicker. As Black men, we are the best men in the planet at emotional labor. We are so good at it that when we go and date with other women in other places, we knock them off their feet, because what comes to us naturally is just not something that has been expected of men in their cultures. Emotional labor, something that is incredibly valuable. And now that I know that it is valuable, I have learned to value it as a bargaining chip in my relationships. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.